WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
I can't believe I'm putting my voice to this.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
Thank you for your irrelevant opinion.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
The first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I got to say. I'm a broadcast journalist. I have a right to my opinion.
Oh, son of a...
I am the best on this microphone, in that ring, even in commentary.
There's the sound of the bell, and that means we are off. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. The Independence Day Weekend Edition. Always fun.
Yeah, coming off the heels of an explosive Friday Night SmackDown, this is Lucas Sanger here, the intern. How you guys doing today?
Taking the intro from me. Man, you are...
I was not taking the intro.
Ooh.
I'm taking my intro.
You're taking your intro.
You go your own way.
Fearon Derry here alongside Lucas, the soon-to-be former intern, as well as Nick.
Like do you feel like there's going to be barbershop
And
class?
you're interrupting?
Sorry.
As well as Nick Cataldi.
Hey.
Pushing the buttons, turning the dials, and keeping us on the air. Now you were saying...
I feel like you sort of think there's going to be barbershop window glass going through your head soon, and that's not the case. It's just, it's time for a change. Enough is enough. Yeah,
I know. I used it in the intro.
Yeah.
And shame on you for comparing me to Janetti.
I never said that. Oh, okay. Yes, I did. I don't know. I'll shut up for right now.
The smartest thing you said? No, never mind. Actually, let's talk about, before we even get into SmackDown last night, Money in the Bank this past Sunday. How about that? Again, stellar job on the picks certain to go wrong, because they haven't been really all that wrong. I went 6 out of 7, you went 5 out of 7.
We're getting better.
Well, I remember, I think it was right around WrestleMania time, you were like an even 500, like 10-10. And since then, you have gone on a tear. You are now 28-14. So you've gotten 2/3 of your picks right for the year.
Good. That's the way it should be.
Meanwhile, I have a considerably higher 37-12, but...
Shut up.
I also threw the TNA picks in there, and you were like, nah, I don't pay enough attention to TNA to care.
Oh, shut up. Stop it.
Or something like that. I might be paraphrasing just a little bit.
Attention?
What?
Do you even care enough about TNA to pay attention? The fact that I forgot to watch because the only thing I want to see is the Hardy Boys. Really? See that reunion.
And we're not quite there yet. You're not all on board with the new Director of Authority, Kurt Angle?
Does it guarantee it'll get better?
No.
Exactly.
But they're trying.
They're trying, yes, but...
I've given you a lot of chances at things that you've tried.
Yeah, but stop ripping. I don't rip off, like, the leading company. TNA rips off WWE a lot. You don't see me, like, ripping off WWE.
I don't think that comparison quite works, but we'll roll along with it. Yeah. All right, in case you missed it, Money in the Bank, the Usos retaining the tag team titles. That was where we were split on that one.
Yeah.
The only one where we were split. I said ooh, and they said oh, and you said less, and less was not more.
I didn't say you, so that was Little Alex.
Oh, that's right. That was Little Alex at the pay-per-view.
Yeah, useless. I'm just like, useless. That's cute. Okay.
Well, he's 10.
I know. I liked it. I'm just tired. That's why I'm so like...
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Got it. All right. Paige beating Naomi to retain the Divas title, although she wouldn't hold it for much longer this week. We'll get into that a little bit later. Adam Rose beating Paul Revere. Damian Sandow dressed as Paul Revere as the pay-per-view was in Boston. Oh, how the mighty have fallen in Damian Sandow. Yes, the state of it. Your contract briefcase owner, Seth Rollins, as he beat Dean Ambrose, Rob Van Dam, Jack Swagger, Dolph Ziggler, and Kofi Kingston in the Money in the Bank ladder match. And no bad news, Barrett. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for Bad News Barrett fans.
Yeah.
And that's coming up a little bit later.
You know what the funny thing is? After Sunday night, somewhere in the depths of South Philly, or wherever Kyle lives, I think South Philly.
Oh, yeah, Extreme Kyle.
Extreme Kyle.
Good friend of ours.
Somewhere in Philadelphia, Extreme Kyle was crying his eyes out, tearing up posters.
He was probably looking for revenge on Kane.
And punching holes in his wall because Ryan Hart is because him and Ryan have a bit of a rivalry. I have a little bit of a rivalry with Extreme Kyle as well. So what happens is Kane comes out and
you're just making friends everywhere.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just such a delight to be around. Kane comes out and basically like screws Dean Ambrose out of the briefcase, and then Seth Rollins wins, which it's just, and then Cena wins the title, and I'm just sitting back just maniacally laughing.
A way to ruin the chronological order. Yeah, it's not exactly a spoiler alert if it's 6 days after the fact, but still, we're talking about it. Yes, John Cena, your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, winning the other Money in the Bank ladder match, beating out Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, Cesaro, Randy Orton, Kane, Roman Reigns, and Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah.
Not a bad match. And then the other filler in there, Gold Star beating Ryback, Rusev crushing Big E, and Layla beating Summer Rae. The only pick that I got wrong, and we were both off on that one.
You know what the funny thing is, we'll get into that when we go over Raw. I think Summer Rae may have found a new, there may be a new item with Summer Rae.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. And because of the short turnaround, the Battleground pay-per-view only 2 weeks and a day away. So already a couple of matches set. John Cena immediately thrown into it. He is going to be defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way match against Randy Orton, Kane, and Roman Reigns.
Yeah, which when Roman Reigns is really the only person that got like the biggest pop out of that. Like everybody was like, okay, Orton, what the hell's Kane doing there? And then it's just like Reigns, oh my God.
Yeah, they're giving a young guy a shot. We'll see what he can do with it. And then, well, I guess I'll get into it now. Some bad news for Wade Barrett fans. Wade Barrett suffered a separated shoulder, which will require surgery, which he had earlier this week, and put him out of action for several months, according to Michael Cole in this past Monday's Raw. And as a result, he has been stripped of the Intercontinental Championship. So another injury and another title being vacated. Abeyance is just ruling the roost this year.
Oh, wow.
As Abeyance had a reign with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that ended this past Sunday, and now heading into Battleground is the reigning Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah.
Abeyance, vacant, however you want to call it, just dominating the title scene here in 2014.
They didn't even have the chance to let him come out and decide whether or not he wanted to, because they did that with Daniel Bryan. No? Joke failed? Okay, moving on. Next story.
Moving on. But it has been announced that the new champion will be determined at Battleground in a Battle Royal. Which makes sense. Battleground, Battle Royal. I guess that's where they're going with it.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody took about 2 seconds to think of that. And then Cena instinctively kicked out at 2. Not bad. So
I like the joke Cena's going to kick out at 2 at his funeral.
Yeah, that's possible too. All right, so 11 names have been announced so far for this Battle Royal. Out of how many? That is also yet to be determined. The overwhelming favorite seems to be Cesaro, since he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Alberto Del Rio has been announced. Kofi Kingston, Curtis Axel, Damian Sandow. Who knows what gimmick he'll be... Well, it's in Tampa, so...
Yeah, what's he going to do? Come out as like an elderly person?
Maybe he'll come out as one of the Tampa Bay Rays.
Maybe he'll come...
the baseball mascot or something.
Maybe he'll come out as like a Buccaneer. Maybe he'll come out as an elderly...
a Buccaneer. There we go. As a pirate, maybe. That's actually not bad.
Maybe even better, he'll come out as like an elderly... Maybe he'll come out as my grandma. There's a lot of retirees in Tampa Bay.
That's not a cool age joke. Ryback, moving on quickly.
Maybe Ryback will have a dissension.
Possibly.
We have to
The Great Khali, they're dusting him off for this.
Wow.
All 7 feet 2 of them. Big E, so Vince can get more size into this. Rob Van Dam, crowd favorite, as is Dolph Ziggler.
Ooh, yeah, I'm hoping Ziggler wins it, actually.
And I think a decent money pick as an underdog, your boy, okay, maybe not, Bo Dallas. All you have to do is believe.
I really want to say something, but we'd have to hit the dump button, so.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Save it for the commercial break when the microphones are off. So there you go. There are the 11 names announced so far. We'll find out in 2 weeks what our predictions are certain to go wrong for that and what the rest of the lineup is. A lot of news and notes to get into. WWE declaring its first full-time female broadcast team member in over a decade. Get into that in a little bit. TNA deactivating one of their titles. And an interesting week for WWE Diva Emma. Yeah, we'll get into all that. Plus, rather noteworthy Raw that a lot of people have compared to on the level of the night after WrestleMania.
I feel like it was even better.
Even better than the night at, well, maybe this year's night after WrestleMania,
but this year's night after.
It's at that level, just from the number of surprises, just the number of noteworthy things. There's a lot to get into with that, plus some other injury updates on the WWE roster, and John Cena finally turning heel. That's right. All that and a bunch more. We'll get into it. We also have room for your calls if you're hanging out here on the holiday weekend, now that you're done with your hot dogs and apple pie and fireworks, or if you have leftover hot dogs and apple pie that you're consuming, various things of that nature. What are you giving me a blank stare for? Okay. Cena,
he's heel.
We'll tell you more about it on the other side. Like I said last week, it's called a tease. Lets people go, I wonder what he's talking about. I better stick around to find out. So that's definitely one to do. And you also can chime into the program either on the Facebook feedback page, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly.
I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm coming.
Lucas, meanwhile, doing his best Red Fox impression, apparently. And you can also chime in on the phones at 215-949-3232 or toll free at 888-922-2149. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. A longtime broadcast team member reportedly getting the boot
for WWE.
For WWE.
Who would that? You're going to tell us after the break.
We're going to tell you after the break. It's called a tease.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your host, Fearon Derry.
It's called a tease. That's how these things work.
You tease.
Yes, and for those who missed the back end of that tease, that was Josh Matthews, who reportedly was let go last week. Now, as far as the tease for this week, since Lucas was threatening bodily harm all through the break here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry alongside
I did no such thing.
Lucas the Intern and...
I did no such thing, sir.
Aside Lucas the Intern and Nick Cataldi.
Yay.
Pushing the buttons and turning the dials and doing all those sorts of things. So right before the break, I'd mentioned John Cena turning heel, and that just rocked Lucas's world. So let me give you the full story on it. John Cena will be turning heel on the big screen.
Oh, you son of a...
According to Deadline.com, John Cena will play the role of a villain in the movie The Nest, starring Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. The film is slated for a December 2015 release.
Just like that Judd Apatow movie they were talking about, or?
I don't know. Movies are not exactly my wheelhouse. I'm surprised I was able to pronounce Amy Poehler's name right. And maybe I didn't, for all I know.
Well, you watched SNL before, haven't you?
Yeah, back when Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were on it.
Oh, never mind.
Jane Curtin, Gilda Radner back in the day. John Belushi. I know, you're like, who? Oh, kids these days. He's mad at me now.
I'm not mad at
He's,
you.
yeah.
Like...
He's relieved. It's like, no, Cena's, he's not heel. He's not heel.
I mean, it's not the fact that I wouldn't be heel. It's just that it's not the fact that I would be mad he was heel. It's just shocking. It finally.
You
like
had
that
the
it finally happened moment.
You had the face like the Undertaker guy at Mania 28 this year, whose name is
Mania 30. You said Mania 28.
Did I say 28?
Yeah.
I am more tired than I thought. Where the heck did 28 come from? I don't know. Maybe I need to play it in the lottery later.
You know, people were booing him a lot.
WrestleMania 30 this year. Yeah, that's where I was going with this. This is what happens when you only get 2 hours of sleep and then you have to go do a show. Sometimes your brain just goes on autopilot and stupid comes out of your mouth. That's going to be a drop for forever, I'm sure.
Oh, believe me, sir, Fearon, I do that all the time. Stupid.
But open your mouth and stupid comes out?
Yeah.
Well, at least you don't do stupid things. Like WWE Diva Emma.
Good segue.
Yes.
That should be a drop, just a nice segue drop.
Yes, what an interesting week for WWE Diva Emma as she was arrested in Hartford, Connecticut this past Monday and charged with 6th-degree larceny. I didn't know larceny I didn't know that various crimes went. I knew of like 1st degree, 2nd degree, 3rd degree. There's a 6th degree?
Yes,
I don't know. Nick, do you got anything on this?
Yeah, forgetting to check out something and accused of shoplifting.
Being charged with a 6th degree, I guess, misdemeanor. I didn't know they went that high or that low, however you look at it.
Sounds like a smack on the hand, literally.
Pretty much.
What did he do?
Well, it's what she did.
I'm sorry.
WWE Diva Emma. She was.
You said WWE Diva.
Yeah, I put Diva and Emma together.
Okay, I understood it.
We're just in a.
I understood it.
We're just
A
botchamania.
funk, yes. I'm botchamaniaing this.
Too, yeah.
I'm saving all my good stuff for the.
What did Demma do?
WWE Diva Emma. Man, worse botch than Gene Rayburn's Dimples comment on Match Game back in '74.
Yeah, right.
Just on a
6th degree larceny.
I'm still wondering what she did.
Well, she was arrested for shoplifting.
That's a 6th degree?
Apparently, the following day she appeared in court and was ordered to do 1 day of community service. WWE's initial.
Did she make it?
Well, it gets a little stranger. WWE's statement initially was, WWE is aware that WWE Diva Emma was arrested for shoplifting. Miss Dashwood, since her real name is Tennille Dashwood, Miss Dashwood is ultimately responsible for her personal actions. Now, according to TMZ, Walmart security spotted Emma taking an iHome Slim Swivel iPad mini case that was on sale for $21.14.
When she stole it.
Yes.
Well, they're saying it was innocent.
Yeah, Emma's lawyer said it was an innocent mistake and that she forgot to pay while navigating the self-checkout machine.
Well, I'm not playing devil's advocate here because obviously, you know, how do you forget to do that? But at the same time,
It
it's
happens.
like, it could do that. Like, I mean, she could easily pay for it. She's a WWE diva. It's not like she couldn't afford something that's 21.
Well, yeah, but people who steal don't necessarily have no money in their pockets. Sometimes they just steal for the thought of stealing. I'm not saying she did this.
Yeah, it could.
I have actually now. In her defense, I'll say something.
Okay.
I've done this at least twice, I remember. But I was getting in line. I think I was getting a pack of gum or something, and then, in the course of fumbling for money, I put the gum right in my pocket. Now, as luck would have it, I pulled it out in time to pay for it. But I thought to myself later, I said, I wonder if I've done that before, and you know, but I didn't
just
recall.
Just absent-mindedly.
Yeah, you just you're not thinking. But the good thing here was it was the only thing I was buying, so naturally I had to pull out of my pocket, but I just as I pulled the money out, I put the gum in my pocket, you know.
Fortunately, all I steal here is words absent-mindedly and put them together like Demma.
Now, what was her community service? Did she have to do like 1 day on a wrestling show on radio, or you know?
I don't know. I mean, it's in Connecticut, so that's where Raw was. So
Probably
who knows?
Clean the tennis courts or something. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the polo grounds.
I'm just making
Maybe
sure
she had
she
to cook.
does all the work.
Maybe she had to like prepare wedges. You know what they are? In Connecticut?
Like potato wedges, orange wedges?
No.
What are they for? They're for like a sport, right?
No. You guys are way off. Actually, at least you had food for on.
Yeah.
A wedge,
Well, it's 'cause I'm hungry.
up there, yeah, right. A wedge up there is actually a roll. They call it was a place I used to go to when I was in Stanford, and it was called the Wedge Inn. In other words, you get a hamburger, they cut the hamburger in half, put like on a small torpedo roll of sorts, and it was called a wedge.
Huh.
At least it
The
was.
things you learn.
Yeah, exactly.
The more you know.
Another time I was in East Hartford or in Hartford, one of the two Hartfords, and I went to a place that said Grinder. I walked up to the guy. I said, "What's a grinder?" You know. He goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Philadelphia." He goes, "Hoagie." You know. So now you know what a wedge is.
Nowadays, I won't get into what Grinder is. It's probably not a good idea. It has a different context for some.
Well, sure it does. So does wedge.
There you go. There's the more you know. Exactly.
So does wedge. When you think about it, you know, give you a wedgie, you know.
Yeah, that's also accurate. But yes, as if that wasn't crazy enough, on Wednesday afternoon, WWE had announced that Emma had been released, let go, canned.
Well, yeah.
Fired.
Well, I mean, I'm not surprised if she. But then again, if she did this by accident, you would. I don't know.
But, shoplifting arrest leading to a future endeavoring, or did it? Hours later, WWE updated their website to note that Emma was rehired.
How nice.
From WWE.com, upon further evaluation, WWE has reinstated Tennille Dashwood, WWE Diva Emma, but will take appropriate punitive action for her violation of the law.
Which means she's probably...
So she's got to pay twice, in other words. Well, and this is what they're saying. In other words, the law takes care of this. Why would the WWE even get involved beyond that?
Because it's the fact that, like...
Well, I mean, it makes WWE look bad. Like one of the wrestlers shoplifting at 20...
Then, you know.
I think it's
the problem is there are other wrestlers who have done worse who are still on the roster.
Exactly.
And that's why they couldn't, it wouldn't be right to justify.
I think a body slammer like 7 times, okay? You know.
It's just the fact that also I'm not
How
bagging,
about a drop kick?
I'm not bagging on security and stuff when they do their job, but Walmart security, Walmart in general.
Careful.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just the fact that they can be a bit snippy about stuff.
Well, shoplifting is a problem.
Yeah, but it doesn't. But she could have it didn't.
But I think the issue in this case is, I mean, you look at, let's say, Jack Swagger, who leading into WrestleMania last year, 29, I think.
Yeah.
Got to apparently figure out my numbers apparently now. Was arrested down in Mississippi for DUI and marijuana possession.
Yeah, but
he still had a job.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's considerably more harsh than
I'm not even trying to bag
pocketing
Jeff Hardy with the substance abuse. He got suspended from WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Right.
Your boy Jeff Hardy. There's another one. But Robert chiming in on the WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page. Nick, the Wedge Inn in Stamford is still there, in case you're wondering.
I have wondered.
So there you go.
I always like the play. I always made it a point of stopping it. Thank you very much. Robert?
Yeah, Robert chiming in on the Facebook fan page.
Thank you very, very much.
There we go. Nice to know people are
listening and being helpful. In case I go up
exactly.
there, I know to look for the joint, you know.
Okay, not a problem.
Right. How about that? No, it's a good little place. Anyway.
Okay.
Oh, yes. And Robert also chiming in a couple minutes ago, Saturday Night Live, more like Saturday Night Irrelevant. So maybe he's going more...
I have not watched it in years.
Well, I already gave you some of the names from when I was watching.
That's when I watched, too. I was there at the beginning.
Still watching, after Bill Hader left, and...
Who?
He was like... It's just bad now. Bill Hader was a guy, he was really funny, he did a lot of impressions, he was like,
They all do impressions.
Well, yeah, but he was one of the reasons that it was still funny. Like him, Kristen Wiig, it was just like the last good group of people. It was like Kristen Wiig.
When the Reverend Al Sharpton became the guest host, that was enough for me. I thought, you got to be kidding me.
When did that happen?
Oh, some years ago. I haven't watched since then. You know.
Oh, mercy.
Anyway, we got the phones ringing here.
Yeah, I know. The phones are going crazy here. Let's go ahead and...
grab one.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see who we got here.
Okay.
How about Ed? We got Ed up here?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep, we got you.
There's some shows coming to the area for the WWE. 7:30 next Friday and Saturday, Madison Square Garden and Wildwood Convention Center in Wildwood.
Oh, that's right. They'll be over in Wildwood, and that's right. They're doing a Madison Square Garden as well.
Super show, I think. Super Show Weekend, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, should be a good one here.
And do you know about Austin being on cable network?
Yeah, they didn't he? I'm trying to remember now.
Something about a challenge, I think.
Oh, that's right. I do remember hearing about that.
I didn't get too much information on that. It starts July 6th at 8 p.m. on CMT.
That's right. I knew he was doing a show for the country music television, the CMT. But I knew I didn't know if it was that or if it was something to do with his Broken Skull Ranch.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. There's time to figure it out.
Yeah, I didn't read the whole article.
That's all right. There's certainly time to get into it.
Yes. And how was you 4th of July weekend?
Well, I worked for it. What can I say? Yeah, I did my part contributing to the country and as far as capitalism, and just I ended up working at my full-time gig. So there that was. All right, Ed, I'm up against it. Thanks so much for calling. We'll take care of a little bit of business. Our second time out, and the phones are running rampant, and we'll get to all your calls on the other side. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, July 5. On this date in 1999, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Atlanta, Georgia. In the main event, Kevin Nash defeated Sid Vicious by disqualification. On this date in 2004, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. In the main event, Ric Flair, Triple H, and Eugene defeated Chris Benoit and Edge in a handicap tag team match. On this date in 2012, TNA Impact aired live from Orlando, Florida. In the main event, Jeff Hardy pinned James Storm. This has been Today in Wrestling History, July 5.
This is Jim the Anvil Neidhart for the Hart Foundation, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB, baby. Yeah!
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you alongside Lucas the Intern and Nick Cataldi.
Hey!
Pushing buttons, turning dials, answering phones, punching up phones. He does a lot of stuff for the show.
Yeah.
And it is greatly appreciated.
Very appreciated. So, Fearon, why don't you tell us about...
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us what's going on with Georgia Cards and Collectibles for the next couple of weeks?
Oh, yeah. They got a lot of stuff going on. Oh, my goodness. Starting with next Saturday, July 12th. That's right. Former WWE manager, referee, and general manager Teddy Long, holla holla, will be at George's in the Oxford Valley Mall from noon to 3 next Saturday, the 12th. So you can listen in to us from noon to 1 and then head on over and go meet Teddy Long. Should be a lot of fun. I don't know if he'll be booking tag matches in the mall. I mean, maybe, well, who knows? I don't want to promote something that may or may not be happening, but I know Teddy Long is notorious for booking tag matches on SmackDown. Holla, holla. Also, the following week, Saturday, July 19th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., the Funkasaurus, Brodus Clay, will be at George's in the Neshaminy Mall. So make sure to have somebody call your mama, as the Funkasaurus Brodus Clay will be at George's in the Neshaminy Mall, 11 to 1. So head on over there beforehand. You might catch a glimpse of myself and or Lucas, and then we'll quickly rush back here to be on the air for 12 noon. Mm-hmm. Tough, but I think we should be able to do it. And also, just recently added, yo, 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 pop a 40 and check your rollies.
It's crime time.
JTG and Shad Gaspard will be appearing at George's in the Neshaminy Mall. I don't know who sounded more white in that.
Yeah, money. Yeah.
Okay, I'll admit it. I did. But yes, Crime Time, JTG, and Shad Gaspard will be at George's in the Neshaminy Mall Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. until 1 p.m. Check out George's 3 locations for all of your sports and wrestling memorabilia needs, including their original store at 7755 New Falls Road in Levittown, in the Oxford Valley Mall and the Sears Court on the lower level, and their newest location in the Neshaminy Mall in the movie theater wing. So for more information on the upcoming Teddy Long, Brodus Clay, and Crime Time appearances, you can give George's a call at 215-943-2475 or visit them on the web at georgescollectibles.com.
So,
did that satiate your need for information on George's?
yes, I would like to. Why don't we take a little trip over to Paulsboro, though? While we talk about that, I got this one for Ron. You don't need to worry, because we got.
I'm already worried.
So Monster Factory.
You've got this.
The
We are so screwed. All right, well, you're regaining your composure there, Jimmy Fallon.
Action returns to Paulsboro, New Jersey in 2 weeks on Saturday, July 19th. The doors open at 6. The action starts at 7. Tickets are only $20 and just $10 for children under 12, for children 12 and under. So far announced as a 6-man tag team matchup of the Militia, consisting of War McClendon and Brutal Joe Gibson, against the Monster Atsu, Luis the Punisher Martinez, and Anthony Bennett, or I'd like to call him Kid and Play because of that amazing haircut.
He does have some amazing hair.
And if the Pride of Paulsboro, if Martinez and company win, Anthony Bennett will challenge McClendon in singles for the Supersonic title. Luis Martinez will vie for Gibson's heavyweight title.
Yeah, both of those will go on later that night.
If the Militia win the 6-man tag match, Bennett and Martinez will no longer be able to wrestle for any championships held by the Militia. Also announced, one half of the Monster Factory Tag Team champions, AC Rock, Mark Cruz, has to step away from pro wrestling for personal reasons. Therefore, his partner, Shaheem Ali, will defend the tag titles by himself against the Factory's finest Mike Spanos and Clutch Adams.
Yeah, that was just announced yesterday, so I didn't know if you had gotten that news. So,
damn.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of threw me for a bit of a loop, too.
I got 2 favorites, so I got to say, 2 big favorites are Mark Cruz and Martinez, so I got to think.
So, yeah, you're now riding on Luis Martinez for to try to.
I mean, also Grizzly Redwood's another favorite of mine.
Yeah, when they bring him in, they have all kinds of great talent that they bring in. Last month they had the Headbangers in, former graduates of the Monster Factory, and actually I mentioned it. I don't know if I posted it to the Facebook fan page or if I just did it to my personal one, but I think I just shared it. It was shared by the Monster Factory. Recent graduate, formerly known as Trademark Tommy Macklin, now known in NXT as Steve Cutler, had his NXT debut match this past Thursday night.
Oh, really? I have to check it out.
Yeah, you can check it out on the WWE Network.
Good for him.
How about that? That's certainly not a bad thing. But, 2 weeks from now, Saturday, July 19th, Monster Factory at Paulsboro, New Jersey. I'll be there. Hopefully, Lucas will be able to join me, but
we'll give those teens a run for their money.
Oh, yes, the teen hecklers. And that's about all I'll say about them. You'll if you've gone to the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't,
you're lucky.
Come on down. I was going to say come on down and find out. That's what's important.
So I think there's one more bit of business I want to take care of. At least I'll let you have your show back. Are you okay with it, or?
Well, I think we should actually get to the phones.
Okay. Get to the phones.
Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to line 3 here. You're on Pro Wrestling Weekly. Is this Gate?
Steve.
Oh, Steve. See,
How's it going, man?
Steve, I had it right, and you had it all flipped. Lucas.
Yeah,
all right, I'll yell at him later. Steve, what's going on?
there's still no WWE World Champion yet, is there?
Well, there is. John Cena won the title this past Sunday at Money in the Bank.
Okay, so that was okay. Now, how long is he going to keep it? Till SummerSlam, or do you think he's going to hold on to it for the year?
Well, I don't exactly have my crystal ball with me, so I kind of left that.
A lot of people are saying that Lesnar comes in at the end of Battleground and challenges Cena for the title at SummerSlam, which is ironic because they hated him for breaking the streak. Now they want him. Now you want him to save you from Super Cena.
Well, when you were telling me about that, with Cena turning heel in the movie, I was thinking to myself,
is this the time to bring back Jericho? But I didn't know. I thought you were talking about wrestling. I didn't think you were talking about the movie.
Oh, I know. That was the hint of the tease. That was kind of where I was, because I knew people would have lost their minds or spit out their drink if they were drinking it or.
No, you misunderstand. Jericho would become the babyface. If John Cena would ever turn, Chris Jericho is your perfect babyface. Because he can come in and say, "Hey, I know what it is to be a company man. I know what it is to give the people what they want."
And he has certainly done it for quite a while, and is still going strong at the plucky young age of 43.
I guess Cena will keep it then for the year, or maybe SummerSlam.
If you had to pin me down and ask me what I think is going to happen as far as the title situation for the rest of the year, I think there is going to be a change at SummerSlam, and if Lesnar gets it, then that would set up for a fantastic Lesnar-Daniel Bryan match once Daniel Bryan is healed up from his neck surgery.
In other words, you and Lucas are saying the same thing. Nobody from Evolution is going to get that title between now and then.
At this point, I think it's more on trying to put Seth Rollins, give him a bit of a push. Not as much as, like, Roman Reigns, but...
Yeah, once Batista left to go promote Guardians of the Galaxy, I think that kind of put the kibosh on this current Evolution regime. At this point, it's just the Authority with Triple H and Randy Orton in tow.
Apparently, though, they're saying Batista's going to return at SummerSlam.
Well, it's possible. It's after the movie came out. It might give a little bit of rub to WWE.
This was Vince's decision all the way through then. The face of the company had to be the guy that's been making money for him for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of one of those, well, all right, our initial plan kind of is shot due to injury, so let's go back to the tried and true. Let's go back to what works, or what has worked in the past and hope that it'll work again now. Though, I don't know, I kind of feel like it was after... It was kind of like in 91 when Hogan won the title back after passing the torch to Warrior.
Okay. Whenever you ever have somebody like Cena win the belt, he's your moneymaker. You got to bring another moneymaker in to replace him. And the only guy I could think of, well, Brock's, like you say, he's a part-timer. But the only guy that I was thinking about is Jericho. It seems like when those guys get together, they put on a nice show, and you can also see the way things are turning in the company, too.
Well, Steve, it's funny that you say that because Jericho was one of a few numerous returns this past Monday on Raw.
I'm looking at it the way Vince would look at it. You can only go to the tried and true for so long, and people get tired of them. They'll start hating them again. Remember how it happened before?
Well, I think part of the issue, Vince McMahon is kind of going through the same issue that the Phillies are, is that they've hung on to so many veteran stars for so long, and now you look to try to get some sort of a youth movement going, and there really isn't one there. You have in the Phillies case, you have a couple of names there. You've been trying to go with Don Brown for a while, right. Cody Ashley, right. And then you look to WWE, and similarly, you've got a lot of potential guys, but have they really reached their potential, or have they all just kind of gone by the wayside already?
Everybody thought that guy from the Shield was going to be the next thing, but bad things happen for people.
Well, which one? Rollins or Ambrose or Reigns?
Rollins was supposed to. I think Vince would have had no problems with him.
Well, I think the guy that they're looking to strap the company to is Roman Reigns.
Okay, now can he coexist in the locker room? You know what I'm saying? Can he get along with Triple H? That's probably the question of the hour.
Well, considering that Triple H is going to take the reins from Vince, somewhere down the line when Vince either passes away or retires, whichever comes first, obviously Triple H is going to be the guy. So, if he can't, he's obviously not going to be around that long.
That's what, for him, Triple H has to put him over. He just doesn't look like the kind of guy
Well, it's also a timing thing. There has to be this building of credibility. You look at Steve Austin back in the late 90s. He didn't. There was a groundswell that was growing starting from the Austin 316 promo at the King of the Ring 96, and you saw it kind of build and crescendo all throughout 97, and it wasn't until WrestleMania 14 in 1998, almost 2 years later, that they finally put the belt on Austin. So it was a matter of time. It was a matter of building, and when it finally happened, people were on board. They were cheering, and at that point, ratings were starting to climb through the roof.
Well, maybe it'll take him that long then. Anything that comes fast usually breaks quick.
Exactly. That's why they're not trying to hotshot Roman Reigns.
All right. I don't know if you can wait 2 years, but I can wait a year for him. No problem.
Well, I mean, there's already been that year with the Shield, so you've already seen that growing. A huge seed that was planted was at the Royal Rumble, where Roman Reigns was a runner-up, and he broke Kane's record for most eliminations in a single Rumble.
That's what I thought. I thought that was going to take him over it. I guess.
It's part of the process.
I think it really comes down to when Vince says, "Can this guy make me money?" And I think that's been the bottom line for a lot of guys that came close. Can he make him money?
And time will certainly tell on that. Thanks so much for the call, Steve. Greatly appreciate the phone call and the contribution. All right, so we only have a few minutes left here to get quite a few things in here. I mentioned earlier TNA deactivating one of their titles. TNA announcing that the TNA television title has been declared inactive. The company attributing the ruling to the storyline director of wrestling operations, Kurt Angle. The title hasn't been defended in over a year, following Abyss winning the title at Slammiversary 11 in June of last year, despite being in the midst of the Joseph Park storyline. Oh, I was talking TNA, so you weren't. Okay. Yeah. Well, here's something that might perk your interest then. WWE declaring the first full-time female broadcast team member in over a decade.
Yeah, that's
Renee Young. And
Young.
now your interest has peaked. She is the new host of the WWE Superstars television program. The company's playing up the idea that she's the first full-time female commentator in over a decade. She's told WWE.com, "I feel there is definitely a certain amount of pressure, not only as a performer and broadcaster, but representing women who may not even know this is something that they want to do. I can show other women that if you're not a diva and still want to be involved in WWE, there's so much you can do. It's definitely really cool to be in the position to create a bit of a niche for myself and other women." So, awesome to you.
Definitely some inspirational words by Renee Young.
Can't go wrong with that.
Definitely want to bring up a notable female return, though.
Yes, from Raw this past Monday. I mentioned Chris Jericho came back, which was kind of it was a Trojan horse in a sense, because the former WWE champion that was announced to return, The Miz, came out, and people were immediately deflated, like, oh, it's just The Miz. And then as he's talking, Jericho's music hit, and the place comes unglued.
You even hear Cole go like, "Oh my God!" Like
pages from Joey Styles, I suppose. But yes, the return that had Lucas's heart skipping a beat Monday night on Raw, as Paige, WWE Divas champion, coming out to the ring to cut a promo. Out comes that familiar music, and out she comes, skipping in her Chuck Taylors, the one, the only, AJ Lee.
Yeah.
Looking for a rematch from a few months ago, Paige granting it, and a minute and 5 seconds later, AJ Lee, who I'm looking here on Lucas's notes, he has a heart drawn around her name.
Come on, stop that. That's not true. Are you serious? That's not true.
Has won the Divas Championship.
Okay, it's true. Shut up, all of you. I thought you said.
I'm just Mahoney busting. Come on now.
I want to bring us. I thought you said she was pregnant, though. Remember we were talking to Money in the Bank?
Well, there were rumors of that. Most of them started by Dan from Chicago.
But you
maybe because CM Punk's out there, maybe he was trying to start those rumors. Maybe trying to think that he was involved in it. I don't know.
But, like, I thought you said somebody had confirmed it. That's why I did, like, a flare flop. And I, like, walked out and did, like, a scene, the ending to Kill Bill Part 2. And it just, like, dropped down to my knees, dropped to the floor. And I was in a bit of a fetal position for about, like, 5 minutes.
Well, I don't know if there was confirmation. I mean, there was. I think it was like the Bleacher Report put something out there, but they're not exactly the most credible source. So, I mean, I think I just said, that this was rumored to be confirmed or something like that. But no, I kind of figured that it was nonsense. I mean, they figured they had a wedding to deal with. That was enough. If down the road they want to go in a different direction, then they can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Also, this is interesting. A suspicious package bringing police to WWE headquarters.
Wonder if it was CM Punk's trunks or something like that. Just to be like, it's like a funny. I don't know.
Or dare I say, a pipe bomb. See, that's the clever line.
Dark but funny.
Yes. WWE officials called Stamford, Connecticut police officers to report that a suspicious package was sent to the company's headquarters. Tara Carrero, a WWE spokeswoman, said WWE received a suspicious package at its headquarters today and contacted local law enforcement to investigate. All WWE personnel are safe and business is being conducted as usual. I guess no word of what the suspicious package entailed, probably so that other people don't try to mimic it, because people tend to be dumb like that. All right, we got a couple of minutes left. Time for birthdays. And I've got 3 notable ones and one that's really obscure, and just for a shameless plug that I actually put on the WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page right prior to the show. It was a link to our good friends, which you're wearing their T-shirt very nicely, at OSW Review.
Thank you very much.
SummerSlam 92.
Take a boost on.
Yes. And that's the episode where that emanated from. But SummerSlam 92, episode 29. One of the birthdays today, 1982, Italian soccer player Alberto Gilardino, easy for me to say, turning 32 today. Check out the episode during the Shawn Michaels Rick Martel match about 37 minutes in, and you'll appreciate the laugh and the comparison of Sensational Sherry. Splicey splice. Also, other birthdays today, 1971, Jamie Dundee, known in the WWF, WCW, and ECW as one half of the tag team PG-13. You might remember him as JC Ice, turning 43 today. You know the rap, We Are the Nation, coming live and in color. From back, he did the rap for the Nation of Domination. Also, 1962, former WWF, WCW, and ECW enhancement talent, as well as former Monster Factory student Barry Hardy, turns 52 today. And from 1952, former WWF superstar and manager Hillbilly Jim turns 62 today. Don't go messing with a country boy. And I'm sure you can check him out on the Legends House on the WWE Network. That's going to just about do it for us. I don't know if there's much room on Lucas's page for added notes and things of that nature, so we're going to make way for Nick Cataldi and country music here on WBCB. We'll be back next week for my 250th episode? Say it ain't so. Take us out, Nick.
It ain't so.
1490 WBCB, Levittown, Fairless Hills, Trenton.